What's up, y'all? I'm back, and boys, there's a lot to talk about now. Game one of the finals ended a couple days ago. We all know how that ended with the game winner and everything. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about game one. We're going to talk about how game two is going to go down later tonight as I'm recording this. Hey, yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so game one of the finals. We all know how it went down. The Pacers won 111 to 110 off the Halliburton mid-range jump shot game winner in the fourth quarter. And this was a meltdown from the Thunder. You know, the first half, well, honestly, first, for the whole game, the Thunder had the lead up until the last point 0.3 seconds of the game when Holly hit the game winner. But the Thunder, they played an okay game. They didn't play their best game, but they played amazing on defense. They forced like 20 turnovers on the Pacers in the first half, but the Pacers really like fixed that in the second half, and that's when they started to push for the comeback. But the Thunder had the lead for the entire game. They were playing amazing defense, causing turnovers left and right. And the Pacers aren't really a team that turns the ball over more, because their lead star Halliburton, he doesn't really turn the ball over. You know, he has a great assist to turnover ratio. But in that first half, they were getting live ball turnovers. They were getting turnovers off the inbounds. Like, it was crazy. But the thing is, the Thunder weren't converting on those turnovers. They didn't have a lot of points off the turnovers. I think they might have had like 14 points off turnovers for the whole game. And their shooters weren't hitting. I think I saw a stat somewhere. It was like Chet and J-Dub made one jump shot combined. And that just isn't acceptable from your two co-star players if you're Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He had an okay game. No, he had a decent game. He scored 38 points, but it was on 30 shots. It wasn't great efficiency, and I think he took way too many shots. He was just trying to play hero ball and save his team because all the shooters weren't hitting. And honestly, you can't blame him for that. But I believe he had like 3 assists, which isn't really acceptable if you're the lead guard, and you should probably try to get your teammates more involved instead of taking that many shots. But I think Shea did have a good game. There's not much to criticize him about, seeing that his team didn't do much. And seeing that the Thunder had this bad of an offensive game and only lost by 1 point and had the lead for most of the game, and seeing how good a defense they played shows how high the floor of this team is. And I think they'll definitely win game two. I'm no doubt. I think it might actually be a blowout, seeing as though like when the Thunder lose games, they tend to bounce back with a blowout in the playoffs. So I'm anticipating the Thunder win next game, especially since I was talking about how low their floor is. I think they can definitely play amazing defense on the Pacers again in game two. I think the Pacers might clean up some of those turnovers that they had in game one, but it'll definitely be another great defensive game from OKC, because seeing that they have the great defense, it increases their floor. So even if they do play a bad game, they won't get blown out or lose by too many points, or they might even still win. I think we're going to have a great game from Shea again. I don't think we're ever going to have to doubt if Shea's going to play a good game. Chet and J-Dub, they need to play better if the Thunder want to have a chance of winning, especially J-Dub. He's the second leading scorer on the Thunder. I think they should stay with that Chet at center lineup, even though he played horribly. I think having him at center will have him play better in the upcoming games. And then on the Pacers side of things, no one on the Pacers really had an amazing game except for Andrew Nembhard. I think he had a great game. He scored, I think, like 8 points in the fourth quarter. He was going crazy in the fourth. We all know that shot that he had on Shea with the bag work, step back three on Shea. That was amazing. I know everybody was like going crazy reacting to that live or whatever, watching the highlights, whatever. But yeah, I think Nembhard had a great game. I think he'll have to continue to play great and play good defense on Shea if the Pacers want to have a chance in these games. Halliburton and Siakam, they played okay, but they could have played better. Like, they didn't really play up to their standards. Siakam was the leading scorer with only 19 points. I think you need better scoring from the Pacers, especially Halliburton. He went 6 for 13, under 50% shooting, only 14 points. Even though he hit the game winner, and his game really is going to get overshadowed by that moment. He didn't have the best game. He had a solid game though. He had like a lot of points, rebounds, assists, of course, but that's not the full story. He was really getting targeted a lot throughout that game by the Thunder. Like, I remember he got caught on a backdoor cut. It's a lot of things. Like, the Thunder really are just going to target Halliburton because he's their weakest defender in the starting lineup, especially perimeter defender. So I think he's going to have to put more effort in on that side of the ball. I think they need to have a different approach to defending Shea too. I think they should throw more double teams at him. I don't like, even though Nimhard did a good job defending Shea, he still ended up with 38 points. Even though it might have been 30 shots, he shot like 46% from the field. So I think they're gonna have to do a better job defending Shea. They did a great job on J-Dub and Chet, obviously, because they didn't have great games at all. I think J-Dub went like 6 for 19. So the Pacers could keep it up that way, but their offense is gonna have to see a change if they want to win game 2, especially on Shea, as I was saying. But I think the Pacers played a really good game for their standards, and if they want to come back in game 2, they're going to have to play even better. And going back to that point with Holly's game in game 1, he's definitely going to have to be a more aggressive scorer. He like, the Pacers record when he scores 20 plus is amazing. Like, I forget what the record is in the playoffs, but it's really good. So he's going to definitely have to score much more if the Pacers want to have a real chance of winning. But again, on the Thunder side of things, I think the Thunder need to tighten up the rotation. I saw they were playing AJ Mitchell for a while, and he had a few shots. I don't know the final box score, stat line or whatever, but I remember seeing him miss a few shots in the game, like a 3, a layup or whatever. And he also had a bad defensive play on Halliburton when Halliburton pump faked him and he jumped and was like flying through the air, and Halliburton got an easy 3. I don't think that's acceptable, and they shouldn't really be playing that young of guys with no experience. And I think if they tighten up the rotation, they'll have a better chance of winning. So they shouldn't really give AJ Mitchell minutes. And also on the Pacers side of things, Thomas Bryant was getting minutes. I don't know, like, Thomas Bryant did get a few buckets, but I don't think Thomas Bryant should really be getting heavy finals minutes. Like, that's kind of crazy to think about. And then Benedict Mathurin, he also had a pretty bad game. I think he ended with like 5 points. He had like a bucket, and I remember he had some free throws. That play got challenged. I remember that. But yeah, I think both teams, they might have to tighten up the rotation a little bit, because I was seeing players out there that I would never think to see in a finals game, especially AJ Mitchell, the way he was playing out there. I think both coaches were kind of experimenting game 1, and they'll definitely have a lot of adjustments game 2 that really just comes with the territory, especially in the NBA finals. So I think the Thunder rotation and the Pacers rotation is going to look much different in game 2, and I think that'll help out a lot for both teams, especially the Thunder though, because they're a great defensive team, and AJ Mitchell is having a lot of defensive lapses. So once they tighten that rotation up, I think they'll be in the game and have a much better game in game 2. So I touched on it a little bit earlier, but my final prediction for game 2 is the Thunder. I don't know how much they're going to win by. It may not be a blowout. I'll say they win by like 11 points against the Pacers, and they'll tie it up 1-1. But yeah, that's my final prediction. I think they'll tie it up 1-1, get a win today, and bounce back in OKC. I don't think they're going to lose both home games. But that's all for today. I'll see you guys later. Have a good one.